Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class for the first intermediate grade. Our textbook is Super Goal 2 and today we cover what's school like unit and the lesson is reading. This lesson will be presented by me, teacher Mazen Al-Harbi, and the sign language by Mr. Fawaz Al-Agil. So let's begin. Our objectives in today's lesson, we hope that at the end of this lesson you will be able to use clues to predict about the text and also define school clubs and relate activity to clubs. Before we do this, let's make a quick revision on our last lesson. Last lesson, we had a conversation between Hashim and Faris where each one of them said his opinion about his favorite subject and also his favorite teacher. And each one of them said, for example, Hashim or Faris said, I like science. I think it is cool because he liked the experiments. And Hashim said that he prefers history because he thinks it is fascinating. And Faris' favorite teacher was the math teacher, and Hashim's favorite teacher was the English teacher. So every one of them expressed their opinion about their favorite subjects and their favorite teachers. Also, we had an interesting exercise where I asked you to make a question to interview your classmates or one of your family members or maybe a friend to ask him about their favorite subjects and why did they like that subject. And I gave you example of two friends of mine. The first one, his name was Ahmed. He said that my favorite subject was English because I think it is interesting. And the second one, his name is Ali. He said that my favorite subject is art and I like art because I like painting and drawings. And I also ask you to do the same, to make the same table and write down the names of the people who you are interviewed and also their subjects and the reason for choosing their favorite subject. Also, I ask you 4 questions. Those 4 questions relates to you. The first one was, do you have lots of homework? Do you have lots of homework? And I ask you to tell me your opinion about homeworks. Do you like to take a lot of homeworks or not? Do you like to take homeworks that are on an electronic platform or the homeworks that where you actually have a pen and write down the answer on your book? I also asked you about what is your school schedule like? And I gave an example on a previous lesson where we have someone named Ahmed, a high school student, where he has 5 classes with 5 different subjects, and also each one of them has the name of the teacher and during the weekdays. So I ask you to do the same and tell me how many math classes do you have during the week, how many English classes, how many history classes. So just tell us how your schedule or what's your schedule like. And the third question I ask you about, who is your best friend at school? The friend that you would like to spend time with in a break time, or also you can do your homework with and participate with. So who is your best friend or your best classmate at school? And also the fourth one, what does he look like? What does he or she look like? So here we're not talking about his qualities, whether he's friendly, he is happy or not. No, we're talking about his look, his appearance. Is he short? Is he tall? Is he fat? Is he thin? Does he have brown hair, long or short? So this is what do I mean by this one. What does he look like? So I need you to give me information about his look. Now, on our lesson today, I would like to ask you about your school. So as you know, in each school, there are clubs. And what do you mean by clubs is a small grouping made by the teacher in different areas. Some of them, for example, for history, where students go to the history club and try to read as many stories about the history. Some of them may be for a computer club, where students go and try different programs or different software. So, what clubs does your school have? Do they have, for example, a science club, where in science club you can try different experiments, you can apply different scientific theories. So for example, when you read a theory in the book, you read a theory and you want to apply this theory. So you go to the science lab at your school and you try different experiments and different theories. Or does your school have a sport club or a football club, where there will be a competition between different classes, okay, and where you have a championship maybe, and there are winner, there are loser, and there will be referees, and all of this, it's like a small organized championship inside the school. So does your school have similar clubs, or does your school have an art club? An art club where that they can try to draw different paintings, or try different colors, or artistic works. So there are a lot of things you can do in art club. So again, what kind of clubs does your school have? A science club, or a football club, or an art club, or you have other examples. So just think of those clubs. Now, I would like you please to open your books on page 15. I would like you please to open your books on page 15, as we're going to ask you a couple of questions about the pictures that you can see on page 15. So, have a look at the pictures you can see on page 15. And here I would like you to think. I'd like you to predict what kind of clubs, what clubs will you read about? So just think of it. Have a look at the pictures you can see on page 15 and tell me what kind of clubs we will read about. Are those, have a look at the clues. So you can see, for example, you can see a picture of people in the desert. You can see a picture of people's gathering. So just have, try to guess, try to predict what kind of clubs we will read about in this lesson. So have you guessed? Very good. Now let's try to read this text and see whether your prediction were right or not. So the first one, the first text we can see on page 15 is this one. I will read this one for you, and this one is a very important information. It says here, what is the goal of a school club? What is the goal of a school club? Students make friends with other students that share the same interests. A club helps students explore their interests, learn to work with others, and just have fun. So now, at this text, it gives us a very important question. What is the goal of school club? Why do we need a school club? What is the reason behind making, or maybe for you as a student, to join a school club? Here it mentioned a very good reasons. Let's read the answer again. So it says here, students can make friends with other students that share the same interest. It means here that student who likes the same things, who have the same interests, the same hobbies, they can join a school club and they can develop their skills, they can expand their knowledge and by joining this club. A club, what kind of club helps the student with? It says here that a club helps students explore their interest, learn to work with others, and just have fun. So not only learning in school clubs, but also you can have a good time. You can have fun by joining the school clubs. And now, as you can see on page 15, this screen, And this screen, it has different school clubs. And as you can see, this is a screenshot from a website. And this is the title of the website. And here is an information about the text. And here are the blue links. As you can see, those are links from different websites. When you click those links, you can go straight to those clubs. You can go straight to those clubs. Now, I'm going to read this text twice. The first time you only listen, and the second time you try to read with me while you follow. Okay? So now let's read this text. School clubs. Come and check it out. Visit one of the clubs and spend an afternoon doing what you like most. The Science Club. Students organize their own experiments. Club members are students who say, I'm sort of like a science too, and science is cool. Do you feel the same? Archaeology Club. Students learn how to excavate archaeological findings. Club members organize expeditions in the desert every spring. Poetry Club. Students learn and recite traditional and modern poetry. They write poetry and organize poetry readings. Computer Club. Members learn about and get a chance to use lots of computer programs, from spreadsheets to games. Some students even design their own programs. Does this interest you? Drama Club. Members learn the basics of acting and get a chance to act in plays in front of student audiences. Get on stage and get on the act. Football Club. Members practice and compete for the school team. They also help with the organization of football games with other school teams. Now, I'm going to read this text again, but this time you follow with me. So I'm going to point at each word I'm going to read, so you read with me and try to follow. School clubs. Come and check it out. Visit one of the clubs and spend an afternoon doing what you like most. The Science Club. Students organize their own experiments. Club members are students who say, I'm sort of like a science too, and science is cool. Do you feel the same? Archaeology Club. Students learn how to excavate archaeological findings. Club members organize expeditions in the desert every spring. Poetry Club. Students learn and recite traditional and modern poetry. They write poetry and organize poetry readings. Computer Club. Members learn about and get a chance to use lots of computer programs, from spreadsheets to games. Some students even design their own programs. Does this interest you? Drama Club. Members learn the basics of acting and get a chance to act in plays in front of student audiences. Get on stage and get in on the act. Football Club. Members practice and compete for the school team. They also help with the organization of football games with other school teams. So here, as you can see, here we have read a summary of each of those school clubs. So this is a school that has 6 different clubs, and this is its website. So as a title, as an advertisement to invite students to join this club, we see such phrase: come in and join and visit one of these clubs and spend an afternoon doing what you like most. And here on those 6 school clubs, we can see a simple introduction about what you can do or what are the activities that we can expect in each club. For example, the science club, you can do experiments. The archaeology club, you can do expeditions in the desert. Poetry club, there will be reading and reciting traditional poetry. Computer club, you can learn about programs, you can learn about games. And the drama club, you can learn the basics of acting and get on the stage. And also football club, this is in this one you can play matches and practice with the school team. So this is a simple introduction for these school clubs. So let me ask you here, how many of these clubs does your school have? And when you have those clubs, do you have the same activities that is mentioned here in the book? Think of that question. Now, I would like you please to close your books. I would like you please to close your books. Now I'm going to mention those clubs that we just have read about, and I would like you to think of the word or any word when you hear the club, okay? So let me do the first one as an example. So when I say science club, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Maybe some of you would say experiment. Now I will do the same with the rest of the clubs. So the second one, archaeology club. Archaeology club. So what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word archaeology club? Very good. Some of you may say expedition in the desert. Some of you may say excavate archaeological findings. All of those answers are true. The next club is poetry club. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word poetry club? Very good. Recitation or readings, poetry readings. All of these answers are true. The fourth one, computer club. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word computer club? Very good. You can say programs, you can say softwares, games, all of them are true. The fifth one, drama club. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word drama club? Very good. Maybe it is a stage. Maybe it is acting in front of audiences. All of them are true. And the last one we have, football club. Excellent. We can say competitions, we can say matches, we can say different things. So this is a very interesting exercise. Every time you hear about a club, just try to link one word or two for this club to know what is the activity behind this club. And now, we do have here, open your books again on page 15. Here we do have an interesting exercise after reading exercise. What I would like you to do in this exercise, I would like you to write the club in which student can do each of these activities. So here we can see 6 different activities. Some of them were mentioned and some of them were not in the reading text. What I would like you to do is to read those activities and trying to guess which club that has those activities. So let me read you those activities and then we can answer it together. The first one was or is word processing. Word processing. The second one is acting. Acting. The third one is visit archaeological sites. Visit archaeological sites. Number 4, present poetry. Present poetry. Number 5, play for the school team. Play for the school team. And number 6, use chemicals. Use chemicals. So now, here we have 6 different activities that were not mentioned in the text. What I need you to do now is try to read each one of them and try to predict, try to guess what club does have those activities. So let's start with the first one, or the first 2, sorry. word processing, and acting. So when we go back to the text, which one of these clubs that has a word processing where we can deal with papers, where we can deal with different sheets, okay? So science club didn't mention this. Archaeology clubs didn't mention this, nor poetry club. Here in computer club, we can see that they use a lot of computer programs, including spreadsheets to games. So the first one, word processing, I think it is a computer club because you're dealing with different sheets and different papers. The second one is acting. What is the club that has the activity of acting? So let's continue. Here in the drama club, it says that you get on the stage and get on the act. So acting must be, or the club that has a activity of acting will be the drama club. So here for the first one, we will say computer club, and the second one, we will write drama club. Now, let's move on to the other activities. Visit archaeological sites. And number 4, present poetry. And from this word, archaeology and also poetry, we can immediately know what kind of club that has these activities. The first one, as you guessed, will be Archaeology Club, and the second one will be Poetry Club. So now we'll go back again here and we write down Archaeology Club, and for number 4, we will write Poetry Club. Now, number 5, play for the school team. And when we talk about play, of course, we mean an activity, a sport activity. And number 6, use chemical. And we cannot use chemical unless if we are in the science club. Very good. So here we're going to write for number 5, playing for our football team or our school team. Of course, we will do this when we join the football club. And if we were going to use chemical for experiments or for applying those theories, will be in the science club. And now we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.